This is Queer Newsweek. I'm Destiny Rogers for qnews.com.au, celebrating 20 years in 2020. This is a special edition of Queer Newsweek. Queensland, where we are located, is having its state election this Saturday night, the 31st of October, right after Halloween and right before that other Orange festival, the American election with the horrendous Orange Man. But in the meantime, we have the Queensland state election, lots of different issues. Of course, COVID will be a major one. Joining us to talk about the issues, particularly for the LGBTIQ plus communities, is a woman who knows politicians. She has studied this animal in their natural habitat. She knows their strange ways, how they hunt. She's the national spokesperson for PFLAG Plus. Would you please welcome Shelley Argent, OAM. Hello, Shelley.
Destiny. The scary part is they know how I hunt as well.
Well, they'll never come up against anyone more persistent. Shelley, of course, has been at it since, well, Shelley, you tell us, in the 90s when you discovered one of your sons was gay.
98, I've been, I call it, well, when I was first started, it was in the gay community, and now it's the LGBTIQ community. But yeah, so it's been very interesting. I've learned so much. I've made great friends, and I cannot imagine life without being in the community now. I'm just part of it, I think. I always feel like I'm that comfy shoe. I'm just there.
So you discovered one of your sons was gay. You have two sons, the other one is straight, and you were very upset to discover that one of your sons did not have the same rights in society, in law, as the other son.
Well, that's exactly right. Because I recognised James was gay when he was about 11. And an 11-year-old cannot choose or all that other nonsense that people talk about. It's just there and it's natural. And so I just made it that we had a gay-friendly house, and I just waited for him. And every now and again, I would sort of give him a little message like, gay is okay, not a big deal. But he still took his time, and that was okay. But it was still very upsetting to me as a mother to think that, like, on Saturday he had his rights and on Sunday they were all gone just because of that one word, gay. And so that was what encouraged me to get involved and become part of the LGBTIQ community. And fortunately, because I'm like persistent and I never give up, that it has worked for me. And it's not that I have any particular talents, because I don't. I'm just persistent.
And a very loving mother.
Oh, yeah.
So you've worked on campaigns like, of course, you spent almost 2 decades on the marriage equality campaign. You've worked very closely with, like, probably Australia's foremost LGBTIQ activist, been running campaigns since the 80s, Rodney Croome. You and Rodney work very closely together.
Yes.
You've been in Canberra many times. You know your way around George Street, Brisbane. You know your way around Parliament House in Canberra and places like that.
Yes.
And so we have the election this weekend. And now the two major parties, the LNP, the Conservative Party, and the Labor Party, who are currently in government, appear to me they've studiously avoided social issues this election campaign, maybe with the exception of Anastasia Palaszczuk announcing that Labor would bring on legislation for euthanasia early in the next term.
And that's...
why do you think they've avoided the subject?
Of what?
Of social issues, particularly LGBTIQ.
Well, I think COVID has had a lot to do with that, and I mean that has to be just sitting constantly on their minds. But that's okay. But still, politicians, they need to be able to, like, walk and chew gum at the same time. And rights are something that it doesn't matter what's happening in the world, everybody should have their rights. And having rights does not cost a cent. So it's not going to break the budget of the government by giving people their rights. And so what I did was, and I did it at the election before as well, I contacted both parties and said, what are you going to do? Well, it's a little bit similar to what I did this time. And the answers that I got from Liberals was pretty much the same as I got last time. And it was interesting because what I did was I wrote both parties the exact same letter. I even wished the LNP well at the election. And so then I waited for a response, and neither were actually too forthcoming with comments. But when I contacted Labor, that I was talking mainly to this one particular girl, and she was working for me and looking and seeing what could be done, and she was giving me updates. And so I was really thankful for that. But then I still never heard from the LNP. And so I actually went online and I checked their policies, and there was nothing with an LGB or T in it. And so then I called the head office, and I was told, no, you have to talk to Deb Frecklington or her office. So I did, or I tried. And again, there was nothing. And I said to the girl that I was talking to, I said, look, I'm going to put this ad in the paper. I'm going to have what Labor's doing, what Liberal's doing. So do you want me to have on the side of Liberal just a blank half page? Because you're doing nothing. And she said, if you like.
Oh.
And I just thought, who are you voting for? But then, just a couple of days ago, I did get a letter from the MP in South Toowoomba, and he just was virtually nothing. He should have saved his time, because I had three things. One was the gay conversion, the other was the police, and another was trans issues. So he totally ignored the conversion therapy, and he totally ignored the trans, and just blamed Anastasia because we didn't have enough of the police liaison officers, the LGBT liaison officers, and that was it. And I thought, so I sent a nice little email, wasn't so nice, but I sent this email back saying, well, thank you, but I am assuming from this email that you have sent me that you're going to give us at least what Newman did, and that is nothing. And so,
Well, yeah.
and that's it.
It's strange. It seems that the only parties the only people who've actually raised any LGBTIQ issues are the Greens, of course, who've shown a lot of support, but of course won't be forming government.
No.
They have Maywar. They're likely to keep it. They may win South Brisbane. I don't quite buy the line the Courier's pushing that Grace isn't in any danger. She's been there a long time and got very well established. You never know.
No.
But the Greens have the advantage, of course. They have Jonathan Shree, who's an absolutely wonderful councillor over there in the Gabba. And if the LNP are offering nothing, we know the Greens are being very supportive. What are Labor as the other party, which of course will be one of the two to form government? What are they offering?
Well, not a lot, but the thing is, they know that I'm there, and they know that I am going to keep pushing. And what I was asking for was like the gay conversion, and they keep saying how they, banned it. And when I sent my letter of response back, I could not accept that, because they didn't. They only banned a small portion of it, and that was the least of everyone's worries. But I do have them saying that they will go back and have a look at it. And I think that's extremely important, because at least, and Stephen Miles did say that he thinks the whole thing is appalling. So I'm pleased that he is not a fan of it. And so as long as he remains health minister, we should have luck. And I don't know if he's, how they do their shuffle. I mean, I don't know who will then become the health minister, so we might have to start again. But at least we know that they are movable. And then when it came to the trans issues, I was asking about like clinics for the regional areas instead of always having to come to Brisbane, and especially like with the children. And there was no great response there. That was a little bit smoothed over. And then the same with the police, because now with the police liaison officers like LGBT in Victoria and New South Wales, they've got over 300. We have 160 and ours are voluntary. And I know myself, I have gone at times trying to get support for somebody or a few people, and it's very difficult. It's not just a matter of making a phone call. So, and I think that's important.
So basically, we can say then that the LNP are offering nothing.
Yep. Absolutely.
We can dismiss the Katter Party. We can dismiss.
Go there.
We can miss the yellow man with his death tax lies. The Palmer Party. What's his party called? The United Australia Piss Up or something. Yep. The Greens, of course, are very supportive, and Labor has a very good track record as basically being the progressive party which will be able to form government and have been the only party to basically give us any rights in the history of Queensland.
And you know what? That's the thing. Like with Anastasia, she has done so much for this community, more than any other premier we've ever had. Normally they'll give you one, maybe two things, but she has gone way past that.
Yeah, so basically people need to look at who they're voting for in their local electorate, and I've seen your ads, of course, wonderful ads that you've been putting out there. Vote like a mother.
Vote like a mother, yes.
That's it. It's not till you said it that I thought mother, yeah.
You did not say that.
No, I didn't actually. I stopped just in time. Yeah, it's unusual.
But it is. And those things, it's like making people think.
Yeah. Yep. So have a look at who are the candidates. We have no upper house in Queensland, so you're only voting for one person. You have to number every square, and make sure you do vote this Saturday, because if you don't vote, look at America and think what can happen.
Don't complain if you don't vote.
Yes. And thank you so much for joining us, Shelley Argent, OAM, National Spokesperson for PFLAG Plus and untiring worker for LGBTIQ rights. Thank you, Shelley.
Okay, thanks, Destiny. And remember what to vote on Saturday, people.
Vote like a mother.
Yeah, vote like a mother.